Welcome back to this final section of this course. In this section, we're of course going to review what we learned in each of the prior sections, but in addition, we're going to try to tie all this together into one single nice cohesive solution. If you'll recall, we began our discussion with a section on the anatomy of a laptop. The goal being, of course, not only to introduce you to the various components of a laptop, but also to allow us to intelligently reference these components throughout the remainder of this course. We began that section with a discussion of the mouse pad and how it's used to control the movement of your cursor on the screen. We then discussed monitors and how they vary with respect to both size and resolution. We then took a look at the central processing unit, or CPU, and we described how it really serves as the brain for your laptop. We then moved on to RAM, random access memory, where information is temporarily stored while being used by an application. We then discussed hard drives, where information is stored on a permanent basis, and we ended our anatomy of a laptop section with a discussion of ports, the vehicles via which you connect cables to connect your laptop to other devices. Our next section was on internet security and safety, how to effectively use the internet without getting yourself in trouble. We began the discussion with the identification of the HTTPS protocol, the encrypted protocol that you use whenever you're going to transfer any good information across the internet. We then talked about internet information sources, how these terribly valuable sources of information can provide you good data on just about anything you want to research, but also cautioned you to the fact that most, if not all, of these sites are unrefereed, and that meaning that much of the information is not verified. We then went on to discuss social media and how these sites can be invaluable with respect to maintaining communication with family and friends, but also to warn that social media bullies aren't cool, and if you don't use that vocabulary with your mom, then don't put it on the internet either. We then discussed online shopping, how it can and will be something a part of your life. Just ensure that you're always using the encrypted protocol, HTTPS, and the little lock icon, and stick with the major vendors and you'll be just fine. We concluded our internet safety discussion with a look at downloads. Today, downloads are really about the only way you can get new software onto your laptop. It's perfectly reasonable, but please stick with the major software vendors. There are plenty of fraud sites out there that just are after sending you a virus or getting your email so they can spam you. We then went on to a section on internet applications, wherein we explored 4 internet applications more deeply. We began with the Amazon.com site, the fixed price shopping site. Everything you need is available on Amazon, and they'll drop ship anywhere in the world. We then explored eBay, the online auction site. Again, a great resource. Just stick with the principal sellers and you'll do fine. We then explored Facebook.com. What a wonderful tool for staying in communication with family and friends. And concluded our internet application discussion with a look at Skype, the online teleconferencing tool. Again, a beautiful and free way to communicate with family and friends. In our next section, we took a look at email and email etiquette. We learned how to create an email account. compose, read, and reply to emails. Remembering reply all is not cool. We learned how to include an attachment, and we ended the email section with how to fight spam, the unsolicited emails you'll invariably receive on a daily basis. In our next section, we introduced the Microsoft Office suite. In particular, with respect to Word, we learned how to launch Word via its launch icon, open a new document, select and format text, insert a table or a picture, and then save and reopen documents. Very straightforward stuff, but the tool's incredibly powerful. So to go deeper within the tool, simply get in there and practice. Our next section was on Excel, the Microsoft Office spreadsheet technology. We learned how to reference a cell by the column row strategy. For example, C4 being column 3, row 4. We learned how to create a formula in a cell which references other cells. We learned how to copy and paste formulas. We learned about the functions, and we learned how to create a graph. We ended that section by cutting and pasting a graph into Word and learning about how synchronization, in fact, does not occur across those two products, so just a word of caution there. We concluded our discussion of the Microsoft Office suite by taking a look at PowerPoint, the presentation software. We learned about the use of templates, the title slide, bullet slides, organization and picture slides, and how really this tool is only as good as the presenter. Death by PowerPoint is a real phenomena. Please just don't read your slides. Be a true presenter and use PowerPoint as a tool, not a crutch. Our next section was an important one, wherein we covered the file system. We learned about folders and libraries, how to create a new folder, and how to organize your documents via a hierarchy of logically named folders. We learned how to smartly name your music, your photos, and your videos, and we learned how to create launch icons. Finally, we learned how to create your own toolbar and logically organize launch icons within it. We concluded that section with a look at how to personalize screensavers. Now that you knew how to create folders, you could create a folder and put your special pictures into it, and then right-click on your desktop to personalize it via the pictures. We then had a very brief section on digital videography and photography, understanding that we really only got our toes wet in that very deep pond. To that end, we looked at how to offload pictures from your camera onto your laptop, how to organize those into folders and into a slideshow, how to do some light photo editing, how to view a video, how to do some light video editing, and finally, how to organize your still images, music, and videos into a full-blown home DVD. Fun stuff. We concluded our discussion with a short introduction to digital interconnectivity, where we looked at each of the ports on your laptop and how to connect cables to them and other digital devices. We explored the USB cable and how it's used to connect up cameras, video cameras, devices like that, how to connect to the Wi-Fi and also connect a printer, how to connect an external monitor, and finally how to do backups via an external hard drive. All important stuff. Which brings us to where we are now. Wow, I feel like we've taken a long journey together. I certainly enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well. As to going forward, our next courses will include one on digital photography, then digital photo editing, digital videography, and then digital video editing. All good stuff. I hope you stay tuned. To that end, please stay in touch. I can be reached via email at digitalmiddleage@gmail.com and through my website at digitalmiddleage.com. Again, thanks so much for joining me. I really had a nice time. And remember, keep on learning.